Welcome back to the Brick Abbey as we start building our LEGO Star Wars TIE Fighter. If you like the content here, remember that you want to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our series and our uploads. And we're very excited to get cracking on this one because this is actually the piece, this is the set that gave birth to this channel because I built this one for my son on his birthday. And we're just going to kick things off with the guys here, with the minifigs. And we'll be making the TIE Fighter pilot first, it seems. There's also a droid and a stormtrooper. And I don't think their faces matter. I think they're the same, maybe? Oh, they're slightly different. One's a little bit more angry than the other. So minimal differences here. And if you didn't see the unboxing, I actually think that the helmet for the TIE Fighter pilot is one of the better helmets that they've done. I think he's great looking. We'll set him there, and then see, it's not going to have us do the other ones, but I'm just going to quickly do them so that they're put together, and the droid's pretty easy. He has his own head. There we go. And then the stormtrooper. My son got it was like a huge set. My wife found them on Amazon. It was a ton of minifigs, and they were off-brand. And the stormtrooper was definitely, it looked great, when he got it. And then when he got a real stormtrooper in this set, and kind of compared, it was pretty noticeable. It was like, oh wow, the off-brand, started to become a little bit clearer that it was off-brand. But I just realized we're gonna have to make some space here for the instructions. There we go. All right, let's get started here. See how far we can get. I feel like this one's going to go a little bit faster than TIE Fighter, depending on how much I talk and slow myself down. I talk with my hands. It's kind of weird to not talk with my hands when I'm here touching the Legos. And I believe that's a darker... Yeah, that's a darker piece. Sometimes with there's the light gray and the dark gray. It can be a little hard to tell which gray, and then you have to see it on the piece so that you can kind of compare to see which one is the darker of the two. And this recording is one of the first ones where I don't have the table microphone. I heard my chair kind of squeak a few times in the last video. And then I also could hear my kids very faintly. I'm going to tell you that, and now you're going to go and try and hear it. You're going to have a hard time hearing it because it only happened once in the whole video. It was a 38-minute long video. And I was like, I don't really like that. So I decided, hearing the pieces might not be worth it. And also, I noticed in some of those other recordings. So in all the recordings of the X-Wing, and in the first recording of this one, if I bumped the table too, it was kind of bassy. It still kind of is bassy because the boom is attached to this if I kind of tap this. But it felt even louder when I had the table mic. So obviously you can leave us some feedback if you're like, oh, bring back the table mic. We can't hear the pieces. If that's a huge deal for your experience. I feel like once I'm working and putting the pieces on, there wasn't much to hear anyway, if that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know if it was really doing what I wanted. I wanted to have, this is obviously not ASMR content, but I kind of wanted it to have that very tactile sound. You could hear the pieces, the paper and the bags and everything else. But sadly, in order to do that, it just makes it to where I have to be extremely self-conscious about bumping things and doing things. And then also, it's a different style of microphone. And the one I'm talking into if my kids, you know, are horsing around upstairs and stuff, you're just not going to hear it. That we've got the room sort of soundproofed, and this is obviously a much different microphone. But if you want a microphone to kind of pick up space, I cannot find these pieces. I don't see them. I'm having that piece blank stare thing going on. There are these two, way up there. And so it's just a different style of mic. And I don't know. I want these to be enjoyable to watch and to listen to. I feel like I'm sort of just conversational enough. I can just kind of talk to fill the dead air. But it wants 8 of these. And it looks like we're going to do 4 corners here. We're going to stack them. So I'm stacking before I bring them over. And we'll just put them in the corners. This is one of those times where I want to see the program they used to sort all this out. You know, what led them to make this decision with the studs in the 4 corners. You know, just an interesting science to the Legos. And put that one there, that one there, and these ones are going to go out. This one's a fun build because you can kind of see from the very beginning what you're doing. You're building the cockpit. So it's kind of exciting. You know, from the very start, you get to kind of see build from the outside. Yeah, I'm sorry, the inside out, you know? That makes this one fun. That's one of the reasons I enjoyed this TIE Fighter build. Only one of those there. These ones are going to go on the outside. And our microphone cable kind of got in the shot there. I wasn't paying attention. There you go. Breaking that fourth wall. Breaking that fourth wall for you. It's difficult, right? Because I have to sit at the table, you know, and I got the pieces here. And the microphone needs to be positioned in such a way that I can speak into it while also I need to be able to see the table. So it's a unique art form that I'm mastering here that you don't get to see. You don't get to see like my head sort of craning to talk into the microphone while simultaneously kind of having to peek around it at times. I'm sure it's probably somewhat comical. If like my wife came in, she'd be like, "What are you doing?" I mean, she would know what I'm doing. I'm not doing this in secret. That'd be kind of funny. Don't come in. I'm making myself laugh. I don't know if that helps or hurts the content. Like, this guy, what on earth? I've always been able to kind of make myself laugh, and it's always a point of humor between me and my wife. If you have a significant other and you have almost like running gags that you tease each other about, that's definitely one that I get consistently teased about by my wife, is that she's like, "Nobody's laughing." I'm like, "I'm laughing." She's like, "Well, at least somebody is." You know, that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of laughter in our home, a lot of joking. My son is naturally very funny, which is a problem. It is a problem because he knows he can make me laugh. So we're making the 2 wing mounts here. Again, this is another reason why I like this set. Like, from the very, very early stages, you're just kind of getting to see what you're doing, and it makes for just a really, really pretty quick build, pretty fun build. I think next we're gonna do Slave 1, and then that'll be a nice start to the channel. 3 ships. I think Slave 1, we're going to deliver the content a little bit differently. We'll maybe be premiering those that way. We can kind of bring my gaming audience over here, kind of help jumpstart what we're doing, so that all the way to the red. Yeah, it's all the way to the red. And that way we can kind of get the channel to a place where, obviously, if you're familiar with YouTube, you know, you want to have a channel that is quote unquote monetized. They have like a goal, right? 1,000 subscribers and all this other stuff, which is a little irritating because like I'm a partner already on multiple other channels. It would be great to start a channel and just not have to worry about that. Just like create the content and just like let it do its thing instead of being, you know, hey, we got a subscriber goal and all that stuff, you know? I feel like that stuff distracts, you know, and kind of detracts from the content. But you got to kind of, I don't know, you got to play the game. But then the question is, like, do you? Sometimes I wonder if some of the most successful artists got to where they are because they just said, I don't care about any of that, you know? I'm gonna do me. You know, I saw this interview with Tom Waits. Apparently the interview that heavily inspired Heath Ledger's Joker, his voice, you know, it's got like this halting, you know, just very smoky voice. And he asks him a question, the interviewer, you know, he says something about, how much do you think about achievement? And it's almost like Tom doesn't even have a framework to answer the question. It's like he doesn't understand. You know? It's almost like he doesn't speak that language, if that makes sense. He just makes his music. He makes his art, right? So, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder if that's the key, you know? That's the key to success with something like this, is you just do it. Say, this is my idea, it's my POV, and I'm just going to make it. You know, I don't care about all those other things. And to a certain degree, that's what's kind of fun about this channel, is I kind of don't. You know, this is like my relaxing chill time. Like, I've even made sure that I'm super comfortable in the chair before I start, so I can just kind of sit here and y'all are just kind of getting my my free form, just talking about whatever comes to me, you know, kind of a thing. And I don't know. I'm curious what people are gonna think. I'm a little curious what exactly I'm doing here. Oh, it wanted me to do that and then put that underneath. I was like, wait, I ran out of pieces. Something's not right. Okay. So the little nub goes underneath. All right. I understand what I did. If you can see the instructions, right? It kind of looks like you do all of that, but you don't. You make those and then you put them underneath. And then what it wants you to do is one needs to go on that side and one needs to go on that side, and then that way you can put the light forward with the smooth side in, like so. There we go. All right, we're good. We are good. These L pieces are gonna do this, and then they're gonna float. There's one piece of it that's just kind of floating out and not actually doing much. Okay. All right, we got, well, I don't know, the 3s. Well, the 2x3s, I should say. And whatever the count is on those. And I always find this part to be satisfying. Funny, they didn't show you to do that. It's over there. They do that sometimes. Sometimes the instructions just kind of skip a step. I always like when you kind of capstone stuff like this, because if you ever make, you know, freestyle Legos with your kids, they'll make the most just unstable builds, and I always like doing that part. Coming behind and, you know, making sure that the thing's not going to fall apart. Okay, we're going to do that. And then we need these black pieces to hang over the edge. There we go. Perfect. All right. Let's see here. What do we got? We got these two little gray, I guess, like shelf pieces. These ones always make me think. I said it in one of the videos already, like Short Circuit. Some of y'all don't even know that movie. It shows. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if you've seen it. Johnny Five Alive. But you should. Classic. I'm at that age now where I get to say that. You get to just list a movie and just claim it's a classic. You just get to be like, yeah, it's a classic. All it has to qualify is that you enjoyed it as a kid, you know? Flight of the Navigator. Oh, you got to watch that one. That's a classic. Classic. Like, that's such a trope, you know? You get to a certain age and you get to do that, like, shocked indignation thing. Somebody's like, yeah, I've never seen that. And you're like, what? You know, you kind of have to give them the what? You know, if you have that friend that's kind of extreme, you go home and watch it right now. We're not friends until you do. You know what I'm saying? People get a little wild. But the point is right now, anything that you like, if you're young, let's just say you're under the age of 35. Let's just say you're under the age of 30, right? Just remember that everything you're enjoying right now, one day, you'll be talking to somebody who has no idea what it is or thinks it's outdated garbage. And you'll get to do, you know, the grumpy old man, you know, shocked indignation that they, you know, they don't know what the Big Bang Theory is. I'm just kidding. That show's bad anyway. So that's a bad example. Have you ever watched that? Have you ever watched that show without the laugh track on? It's kind of creepy. Have you ever seen when they do that? They like go in and they remove the laugh track. I honestly feel like it makes the show creepy. I don't know. I struggle to watch sitcoms. I'll be honest. I grew up on sitcoms. Okay. And there's a certain style of humor I enjoy now that I enjoyed. I'll rattle off the shows that I think are still funny, even on a rewatch, right? The Office, Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Modern Family. So there you go. You're getting kind of the breadth of my comedic taste, right? But sitcoms are different. And the reason sitcoms are different is because there's this incessant need for a punchline. And I find it to just be nauseating. See, what happens in a show like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Modern Family is they set up these scenarios, these conversations, or these scenes that are funny in their own right. Oh, wait, we got to use the dark. They're funny because it has something organic. It has something somewhat more true to life, more real. And then obviously shows like Modern Family and others, there's sort of a dramedy sometimes, you know. The Office did this, Parks and Rec did this, Brooklyn Nine-Nine did this, right? They'd have like some sort of serious, poignant moment. You start to care about the characters that you spent like one entire season just sort of laughing at. And then that's a true art form, I think, in and of itself, like disarming you and making you, you know, really enjoy a character and what they have and what they bring to the show. But then you start to care about them in a more personal, like empathetic way. I actually think that's a true art form. It's very, very masterful writing and acting to achieve that. And so I just can't do the sitcom thing because you're always waiting for the punchline. Every dialogue element feels like it's a setup. They're setting up the punchline. They're setting up the next, you know, what's going to trigger the laugh track is how I would say it. And it's not funny because I think it's not funny because you can see it coming. And one of the best things about humor is the surprise, the subverted expectation, you weren't ready, you know. I think, you know, Dave Chappelle is masterful at this. You know, the one time he tells you the punchline before the end of the joke. I'm obviously not going to say it because we don't create that kind of content here. But, you know, guys like Bill Burr, you know, they go on these rants and you're not quite sure where they're going to take you, you know? And sometimes you do know where they're going to take you, and I think that's okay. I think sometimes you're familiar enough with the comedian that there's enough verbal clues and, you know, maybe even speech patterns that you kind of anticipate where things are going, but they're still so good, they're so funny that it kind of makes up for it. And I feel like with sitcoms, the people or the characters are not inherently funny, but they try to set up funny scenarios, and those funny scenarios are very much dependent upon the punchline hitting, the laugh track hitting. So it creates this sort of constant disruption. Because obviously they have to stop. You're going to have that laugh track. You know, it almost harkens back, if you go and watch the classics, you know, the comedic genius of Lucille Ball would be somebody that you definitely need to study if you want to look into comedy and writing, acting, history of sitcom. You know, she's quite brilliant. And, you know, the I Love Lucy show would be a show that you would go back and you would sense that. You would sense the, you know, you can hear actually Ricky Ricardo's laugh in some of the laugh tracks. You can hear her ha 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 ha. You can hear him often. He sometimes is actually, he might even be in the audience, because sometimes they did, I think sometimes they had live audiences, and other times they didn't. But I feel like what those shows did was there was something more, it was subtle, I think. I don't know. There was something very subtle about the way they did it on I Love Lucy. And some of it felt more, if you've ever been around an older person and they're funny, they have more of a classic style. It's more like what I would call like witty humor. They're sharp-witted. And I felt like the I Love Lucy show was a lot of sharp wit. And there were punchlines. I remember the famous Superman episode where I don't know what he says, but I remember the moment that he kind of delivers his final line, you know? I think he says, and they call me Superman or something, and he crosses his arms, and then, you know, Lucy's like, blah, and she makes her face. And so that would be an example of like a punchline, but that's not how the show went. And I feel like sitcoms take that and they try to make it formulaic. So it's too constant, it's too incessant. A good example in Brooklyn Nine-Nine would be the running gags and the running bits that they do. That's like their punchline. And you develop like an affinity for it because it's sort of part of the show, right? It's fun. It's not a cheap laugh, I guess I should say. It's almost like they earn it. It only works because you've been watching for a while. You have rapport. Isn't this fun? This is such a fun build. Hang on, I'm trying to get it lined up. There we go. Such a fun build. You know? I love this piece. I really do. And wings are next. And you know, I got to tell you, if my memory is correct, it's 60. We're on page step 60 or whatever. There's 132 steps, but I feel like the wings go super fast because you know what they're coming. So I think we're gonna call it there. I think that went really, really well. I don't even know how we got on the subject of what we got on. I can't blame chat. They didn't take me there. I took myself there. But I don't know. I enjoy doing these episodes because I enjoy the free form nature of just kind of I don't know. We got on sitcoms and comedic timing tonight and punchlines, and I truth be told, I couldn't tell you how we got there. We got there talking about how I make myself laugh. But I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I hope you enjoy that free form conversational thing. It's been fun for me. It's relaxing, super satisfying to work on these. And as I kind of make the space a little bit better on giving myself a little bit more room here, I might actually start, you see this area here? I might actually stop putting pieces here because the microphone and the boom's in the way. So you might start to notice that. Maybe I'll figure out something to put here, you know. Maybe we'll get a logo or something and we'll print it. I don't know. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but we're having fun. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're enjoying these videos and these series. I look forward to doing more sets with you. We got a whole stack of them in the corner. We got a long, long way to go before we're through the backlog. If you ever want to add anything to the backlog, we'll always try to keep that wish list link below. You can recommend sets as well. We'll add them to the list. You know, if you're like, hey, I'd love to send you this one, we'll let you do that, honestly. I mean, people kickstarted this channel. I can't say thank you enough to the people that have done that. This has just been so much fun. So if you enjoyed listening along here and watching along, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button. Watch more of the videos. Watch more of the series. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here at the Brick Abbey. We'll see you in the next one.